Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching from, good whatever, and welcome to the Butterfly Conversations. It's good to have you back on the show today. And today I brought in well, when you see the guest, you tell me thank you afterwards. But I brought in, she's one of those people that we look up to, especially in the media industry, people you admire, and you just, you're doing such an amazing job. How do I get there? And I know you have that question, how do I get there, at the back of your mind. I've brought her here to come and answer, some of those questions that we have on our minds. But before I go there, once again, welcome to the Butterfly Conversations. And this is a good place to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. It's so good to have you here. So today on the show, we have the delectable Oshay, amazing, let me call her Madam Ronke Giwa. Good afternoon. Good morning.
Evening, anytime, whatever. But I hope you're not disappointed because you said when you see her, you're going to. I hope you're not
disappointment.
No, but thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you. It was an Instagram DM. I have to say it. I sent a random DM and I sincerely did not expect a response. But I said, try. She may respond. Right. If she does not respond, remove her.
I always respond to my DMs if I see them.
The response time was even fast. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't be like, I had to say to I posted on my status that I'm shooting one shot now. Let's pray that it works out. And then immediately responded. I was like, she responded.
Yeah,
but it was so exciting. Thank you
so
very much.
Thank you.
And I think that's one of the things that supports younger people when you're growing. People you look up to, you call on them and they answer you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So today, I already sent you the topic of what I want us to talk about, but really, it's not an interview.
Right.
I chanced on something called the butterfly effect. And it felt like it was a summation of my story. Right. Because it was, we're just in earlier, I just moved into Ibadan. It was just
brave.
Exactly, very brave. And I grew up Lagos, Abuja. Wow. In fact, I spent most of my growing years in Abuja. Coming to Ibadan, one of those cities where you hear that.
Yeah,
quotes,
exactly. You hear all sorts of things about Ibadan.
And it was a brave move for me. But it was one moment that changed everything for me. Right. And I would always say that my life is not where I want it to be, but it's a work in progress, basically. But I know that I'm not where I was many years ago, and I'm so proud of my growth today. But it was one moment that changed everything for me. And a lot of us, we don't see the butterfly effects in every day. Right. We're waiting for that very large moment, but we don't know that every day is a summation of everything that happens. So I think the first thing, I know Ronke Giwa, but not everybody may know, or some people even know you, but they don't know what you do. So maybe you just give us a brief summation.
Okay, so my name is Ronke Giwa-Onafuwa. I am a broadcaster. I've been a broadcaster for over 12 years, radio broadcaster, also a content creator. I'm a digital media content creator as well. I'm an author. I've got 2 books, Lara's Lessons and Lily Learns. I'm a mom, I'm a wife. I'm someone who loves life. I like to live my life authentically. I love to meet people and I love to pour into people. I love to inspire people. I just see, the beauty in every day. That's just who I am.
Thank you. So, I know you as a professional, a very big one at that, not to be humble, a very big one. And a lot of us want to grow, but we don't know how to. We don't know what to do. Or maybe we even know what to do and we're already doing these things, but the growth seems very slow.
Absolutely,
yes. So the first thing I think the first thing I want us to talk about is, how did you get here? Were there experiences that shaped you and made you, or is making you who you currently are?
Right. And I want to say, just like her, I'm also a work in progress. I don't think anybody, if you with that says I've arrived, you probably should just not follow them because
Yeah.
they're arrogant and they probably just don't know what they're talking about. So I'm also work in progress, but I know that just like you said, it's the little moments, and that's a lot of people are waiting for the big thing to happen,
Yes.
are waiting for things that, you know, will move and everywhere, but it's the little things, it's the diligence, it's the little efforts, it's the little actions that amount to the big things. And I would say that that's a combination of me being where I am today. You know, I moved to Ibadan as well 15 years ago.
From where?
From the UK.
Okay.
From the UK, you know, and I came here to serve. I moved from the UK because I just didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, really. So I thought, okay, because I'd finished my first degree before I moved. And so I thought, okay, I'll go back home and serve. I came back and then I said I couldn't serve in Lagos because I'm from Lagos. Now I'm thinking about it. I just know it was just God because I know people who are from Lagos who serve in Lagos. Yes, yeah. You know. So next closest thing was, okay, Ibadan is just 45 minutes away. I'll do Ibadan. And I came here and I to go and come every day like that until
Really?
I just honestly it was like, okay, every weekend and every month and here I am, you know. So but when I got here, I served at Splash FM. That was my
PPA.
first, yes, PPA. And I served there diligently. You know, I started literally from the bottom, you know, tagging CDs, running a few errands, etc. But for me, I just felt like I found that thing that,
You ran
oh my
errands.
God, yes, I ran errands. I did, you know, so I found that thing that, oh my God, it just felt like home for me. And I felt like, oh, I mean, it was something I could see myself doing for a long time. And like I said, it was the little things, me just going to the studio and watching all the people that were at that time, the celebrities, and just thinking, oh my goodness, I want to learn from them, running errands for them, doing their clips, you know, doing 5 minutes on their show, and me just doing it like it was like I was doing primetime Oprah Winfrey, you know, and you know, so I could envision myself being that person, because at the time also, there are women, but there are no women who I felt, because I also am deliberately visible, because there are people who are looking at me. I didn't see anybody that was visible. The people that are visible for me were people who are like more the older, Sene Razakla, wow.
Yes.
You know, people in NTA. But in my generation, I didn't see anybody that was visible like that, especially here in Ibadan. So I was determined to be that representation for a young girl.
So you had decided you were going to stay in Ibadan?
Yes, I decided I was going to stay in Ibadan after my NYC, because my dad and my mom said I should come back. But I just felt like, number one, I could either be the big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond.
Yes.
Lagos for me was a big pond. And I felt like I was going to be one of the fishes. And I wanted to be a big fish, because I felt like Ibadan was pretty much a small pond at the time. The media, because Splash was the first private radio station. And I felt like, I mean, my little effort would be more visible in a place like Ibadan, as opposed to Lagos, where there are Ebuka, there's 1,000 Ronkes.
Exactly.
You know, so I chose to stay, in spite of my parents saying, oh, come to. They felt like I was really good. And I do feel like if I did go to Lagos, I'd be a big deal too.
Yeah, you will.
You know, but I chose to stay because I wanted to make my mistakes here where it would still be forgivable, as opposed to Lagos. So I just chose to stay here, and I was just, you know, just doing my bit every day, not thinking, oh, I want to be a celeb, I want to be someone that everyone looks up to, but because I actually enjoy doing this thing. And I was doing it every day, enjoying it every day, until I'd go out, go to certain places and mention my name, and people were like, what?
That's it.
They Ronke Giwa. Oh my goodness, jump the queue. Oh, take this, take that. And that's when I thought, oh my goodness. You know, so I'm pretty proud of my journey. But it's the little things, it's the diligence. Diligence is all of a sudden, because I've been reading the book of Proverbs in recent times, and the word diligence has become sort of formed a whole new meaning for me, you know. And so even with my kids, I'm always diligence. It's like every day, diligence is really just showing up. And I think that's what I did to get me to showing up.
So we need to show up at least first.
Every day.
You know, I was going to mention, when you talked about diligence at first, I was going to mention diligence. Can we attribute, or is diligence linked to consistency in any form?
Absolutely. And the thing is, obviously, with diligence is really just showing up every day. Showing up as much as you can. Obviously, there are some days that you will not, show up, but the next day, show up the next day. And I think that for me too, my story has been one of consistency. Ibadan isn't the easiest place to conquer, if you know what I mean. Ibadan is very conservative. And so when I came, people were like, who is this one speaking for? You know, and all of that. You know, Ibadan is, even now, we've returned to that whole Yoruba. If you go on radio now, there's more Yoruba programs. But when I came in, we were kind of the ones that sort of revamped the media space to be accepting of English presenters. And you know, so we're one of the very first that kind of give English presenters that celebrity status. You know, and because when I came to English in Ibadan, forget it. You just go back to English. I just determined that I was going to make a mark here, and I'm so proud of what we've been able to do. You know, so like I said, the cycle has sort of shifted again back to the Yoruba. That's why for me, I saw, for foresight, I saw that cycle coming and I jumped off before that that Titanic sank. But, you know, I'm just saying that consistency in just being there every day, even when people were saying, English, when people were saying, all sorts of things, basically, you just keep doing you, especially if you have a conviction that what you're doing is the right thing. Keep showing up. Eventually people did, you know, people will catch up.
Yeah.
People will catch up. So show up every day, be diligent, put one foot in front of the other, keep growing, keep evolving, and basically, you know, people will catch up.
Thank you. So let's narrow it down a bit. Yeah. I want you to share an experience that was a big deal to you in your journey as a media professional. Something that, you know, you just went,
let me see. I think it would be when my mom visited Ibadan. Because I mean, with your parents, I wasn't even in Lagos, so my parents were always like, "What are you doing in that Ibadan?" Say, "What are you doing in that Ibadan?" You know. And there was a time that my mom and dad went to the cinema, and a group of these elderly men. There's like 6 of them. They were just maybe in their 50s, 60s. They came to the cinema together, and one of them recognized me. You know, and you know the way he just greeted me, and it was like, this is my mom. My mom, for me, it was just because, I mean, you always want your parents to be very proud of you, no matter what. And so for me, just seeing her think, so you're a big deal here like this. Because I'll go to Lagos and I'll be just a literal nobody. But I'll come to Ibadan and it was like, hey, Ronnie G,
big deal.
You know, so, but they didn't quite connect with that because they were in Lagos. So when she came, I was like, oh, wow, you're actually a big deal here. You know, so that for me, I would say is a poignant time that I feel like I would never forget, because it made me realize that, oh wow, my parents are now proud of me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. There was a question that was playing on my mind, but benefits of taking notes, but that will come back. But I want to talk about failure, right? Because a lot of times there are stumbling blocks,
right?
And we feel like, this is it, I'm done. Were there times you felt like you were done? And obviously you're not done, because here you are. How did you pick up yourself from those times where you felt like, I'm done with this?
Absolutely. And I mean, I always say that failure will teach you more than success will ever teach you. And you know, sometimes we're always afraid of failure, but unfortunately, if you don't, you're nothing ventured, nothing gained. I remember a time in my career where it just felt like, bleh. I just felt like, you know, I'll be on radio and I could feel like I wasn't connecting. Because the thing about my job is you want to be relatable, you want to connect.
Yes.
And you can always feel it when you're not connecting anymore. For me, one of the, thing I attribute to my longevity as a media person in Ibadan is my always wanting to learn, always wanting to evolve. I never like to stay in the same, you know, not like I'm the same, but I always like to learn and do things differently. Even if it's the same thing, I want to do it differently. So at one time I just felt stuck. I'd go on radio and I could just tell that my audience could tell that. And you know, my biggest fear was being a has-been. Being someone that, she used to, you know. So at that time I didn't know how to evolve. I didn't know how I was going to re-evolve or whatever. And I just felt stuck. And I could tell, because also I'd gone to that point in my career where a lot of people now couldn't criticize me, because it's a very dangerous place. You're a big deal. So but I really love criticism. I love my children criticize me. I ask them, you know, when I've gone wrong, please tell me. I apologize. I love feedback.
Yes.
You know, so I'd gone to that point where even my colleagues at work couldn't criticize me, but I knew myself. And that's why it's so important to have that knower in your spirit. Because I mean, maybe people who might not be able to correct you, but if you yourself lie to yourself, that's the biggest deceit. So I could feel it, but I get to meetings and nobody will be criticizing me, and I'm like, but I know I just did rubbish. I know, well, not rubbish, but I know that what I did is, I know I can do better.
It's not to standard.
Absolutely. So for me, it was that it felt like I was falling, and it was like a bottomless pit, and I didn't know how to just steady myself. So it was a really big point in my life where I had to really go and self-reflect, because I knew that the criticism wasn't going to really come from people, because if a big deal, and that's why I hate people anti me or madaming me or whatever. I really hate it. Call me Ronke, you know, because I feel like when you get to that point, people are afraid to give you feedback, and I really hate that. I want feedback at all times. So for me, it was a part where I felt like I was failing. I'd become a failure. I felt like I had become, you know, what I was not, and I really did just need. And that was one of the reasons I took a break from radio. Because I just felt like, no, I cannot continue to work and I'm not getting, you know, feedback, and I know that I'm not connecting. So I really needed to take a break. And thankfully, before that, I'd found social media. I found content creation, and I'd fallen in love with that. So that really also now helped me to get back on radio with a different mindset. So I was able to not just see myself as a radio presenter, but more as a content. So I was able to tweak my content, get back on my feet, reorientate myself, and get back to that place where I was
entire change.
It was a shift. And so for me, that failure, just that feeling of, oh my goodness, it really humbled me because I knew that I was not where I should be, but I wasn't getting the feedback, and it just really humbled me because I felt like, oh my goodness. Never be afraid of failure, and always have people around you can criticize you and give you feedback. I would say help me to bounce back from that.
So the other thing I picked from what you said is also the fact that you knew when you were not there. So there is a need to know and pick up yourself when it's time.
Yes.
So I remember the question I wanted to ask you. You do a lot of other things right now. I remember that my first interaction with you, howbeit from far, was when you had the girls' conference at Joga Center.
Yes.
The one Kiki came for. That was my first interaction with you. That was when I even knew your brand, your name, and everything. And I was so amazed. And you also talked about revolving.
Yes.
How do you get to that point where because a lot of times you're doing certain things, and you don't want people to say, it's only you are here, you're there. How do you know when to revolve yourself and, maybe add some other things, do something else, and, just enjoy yourself?
Absolutely. Well, I want to say life is too short to care what people think. But trust me, let's stand this table right, because it will be fake of me to say we should, because we all care, and that's the honest truth.
Sure.
But it now takes a lot of readjusting. Say, okay, what are people saying? They're saying this. Okay, well, that's their business. So, but then life is too short to now be obsessed. Let me say, life is too short to be obsessed. That people are saying I'm all over the place. Because even at my age, I'm in my 40s, and people expect that you should be there, but no, you're still figuring life out. I know 60-year-olds who are still figuring. As long as you're in the world. But they people think, you should know where you're supposed to be. But no, life is about continuing to do what brings you joy, even if it's 500 and 1 million things. Continue to do things that bring you joy. I'm also one of those people that do a lot of things. I'm an author, I'm a broadcaster, I'm a this, I'm a that, but I do it all with grace and because I'm enjoying it. Thankfully, also I guess this big auntie in the industry, I don't really get, like I said, I don't really get feedback. So there's a good and bad of that. So I don't really hear a lot of bad things about me. I really don't care. So I also don't hear, I hear a lot of good things about me. So let me not lie. But I don't hear too much because gossip doesn't filter to me, because also my boundaries are very, very strong.
Yes.
So I would say don't care about what people think. You need to try a lot of things. Don't let people say, do one thing, because that's the biggest lie that we have been told. Jack of all trades, master of none, but that's not the end of that quote.
Yeah, I know that's not the end.
So please do as many things as give you joy. Because a lot of people would love to be in your shoes where they had more talent. There was a time I felt like I only had one talent when I used to be a singer. I felt like that was the only thing I could do. Also, if I discovered more of myself and reach in, there's so much more to you than that one thing. Reach in and do it. Anybody who's saying that it's really because they're jealous, to be honest. I found that a lot of people say that from a place of jealousy. It's a different case when you're just trying to copy. You see someone doing it, then you come and do butterfly effects. No. So you are the one, and it's even up to you to now determine, okay, you know what, I'm just being a copycat. It's not to someone who will tell you,
yes,
absolutely. You are the one who has to be able to self-reflect. All right, but please do as many things as give you joy, because you just never, then it also helps you to determine, okay, I don't want to do that. If I've tried podcasting, I can say I don't want to do that. But how do you know
you don't want to do
absolutely
it?
If you don't try, and that's why even with my kids, I'm making sure they're doing all sorts of things. Piano, swimming. My kids have 100 million 25 extracurriculars. Because by the time you're 21, you want to know what you don't want to do.
Yes.
What I want to do is eliminate what you don't want to do. So that's the thing for me.
There was something James Clear said. It's one person I follow, and he said something about, if you do not do so many things, you will not know what you want to do. And that's what you just said right now.
Absolutely. So I want him to know, at least I don't want to do that. Okay, keep trying. And then I wish someone had done that for me, so then I'm able to, because I also was a little kid who just didn't know what she wanted to do. I studied English because I was just running away from maths. Not because, exactly, so I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And there was really no one who sat me down to say, and so I want to be that person for the younger generation. And that's what I'm doing.
Thank you. So quickly, let's talk about the place of timing. you're in your 40s.
Yes.
And like you said, sometimes we expect that you should have figured it out.
Yes.
It's the same way someone in their 20s expect that I should have figured things out. But really, I'm just dancing
Just a baby.
around.
I'm just a baby girl.
So did you think that some things would not have happened for you? Maybe if you were not a certain age or at a certain time of your life?
Oh, this should have been a totally different podcast, because this timing thing, my goodness. I believe that timing is spiritual. You may not be spiritual, you may not be religious, but whatever. I believe that timing is spiritual. And it's not even just up to you. At the end of the day, we're all a factor of where we've been brought up, the things that we've gone through, our parents' decisions, etc., then God and all of that, So I always used to say, and I've stopped saying that now, things happen to me late. I always say that, So for example, I would say I got married late. I had
skipping the time.
Exactly, So I had my first child late, etc. But I also believe that God's time is the best. There are things that I see some of the younger people doing now, like, oh my God, I wish I could, because if I do it now, I look cringe, because I wish those opportunities were available to me when I was in my 20s. But just be happy that you're alive and celebrate that you're even able to. Don't let anybody say because I get that sometimes. People say it in jest that, you're in your 40s now, leave these things for who?
Who are we living for?
Exactly, for who? No. I would do, if I need to wear a crop top, I wear a crop top. All right? If I need to, I play with my children like I'm in. If you see me play with my kids, if I see me if I see me around my older kids, you will not know who's mom, who is, because I don't feel, timing is something that, just do what you need to do. Also, I believe that, yes, there are certain things that you've considered late, but God is never late. God is always on time. Yes, there are some things I wish that, maybe if my parents had, yes, unfortunately, but I always look at the bright side that at least I always tell my kids, yes, you can blame your parents for some time. After people will say, okay, then what are you now doing? You're an adult now. So I can't blame my parents forever. They did their best.
Yeah.
But then when you now come to awareness, what are you going to do about it? That's why I will never be unstoppable. That's why I love one of my biggest mentors, Dupe Olushola. In fact, she turned 50 today.
I love her.
Exactly. And so when I see people like that, that's why I'm more visible.
Yeah.
And I do the things I do, because there's someone in their 30s who's feeling old. Then they see me and they know, okay, I'm not old.
I'm not
old. When I see
old.
people like Dupe Olushola, I'm like, I'm not old.
I was looking at her pictures this morning. I was like, what?
Exactly.
Such grace.
I'm not old, so I still have some time, because I'm not near 50 yet. But I feel like, so if I'm feeling old and she's still like living life, and so that's why I like to live my life sometimes very visibly, because I want a 30-year-old to think, oh, I'm not married yet. I'm not, girl, marriage is work. So live your life. Live your life so that you can have something to reminisce. I can reminisce about my singlehood now, because mine, yes, there were some times I'm like, God, I wish I was now not so, I'm not married. But then I still tried, I lived, I traveled. So you want to be able to have something to reminisce, because when marriage comes and the kids come, girl, trust me, you will be thinking, those single days when I could just come. And so yes, God's timing is always perfect. And it is spiritual. I would say, pray about things. And when things happen, just know that God
willed it to happen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Wow. It's been an amazing how many minutes. I really want to continue this conversation, but of course we are bound by time. But before we run away, before we run away quickly, there's something called the sweet spots and the pet peeves.
Okay.
Sweet spots, something that makes you smile, that just gets you cool.
Wow.
And then the pet peeve, something that pisses you off. You want to, So what's your sweet spot and what's a pet peeve?
Okay, my sweet spot. Oh my goodness. I don't know if this is going to be boring, but my sweet
It's your thing.
My sweet spot has to be like being home in my comfortable clothes, around my family. That's just, I just love being home. Yes, just lounging. Or maybe traveling. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love every bit of, from the packing to the airport. My husband is traveling, but I love even to the packing, even to the airport, even if there's delay. I'm just happy to be getting on a plane to somewhere. So that's my sweet spot. Yeah, traveling. I'll say
Pet
traveling.
peeve?
Pet peeve has to be, oh my goodness, what's my pet peeve? Oh my goodness. Pet peeve has to be maybe arrogance or someone, I don't know. I don't care. Well, pet peeve has to be someone who's just, arrogant, or who thinks, I don't know. I'm trying to remember it after, and I hate this. I'm trying to remember this after this filming, but Yeah, I'm sure I have a lot of.
But
pet
I mean,
peeves.
that's a
or
pet peeve as
or
well.
people who don't like recognize boundaries.
Yes.
I don't like that.
Yes.
I don't like that. People don't
Yes.
recognize boundaries, and you don't. You know, like for me as a mom, I'm always teaching don't go to someone's fridge, don't go in someone's bed, because I'm very big on that. Because when some kids come to our house and they're just all over my face, I'm like,
yes.
Can't your mom and teach you boundaries? Sit in the sitting room until you're invited in. So this is like, my children know I'm very sit until they ask you to, be confident. I'm not saying go into a place and shout, no. But I don't like people who don't know boundaries.
I get it. So before we go, last words for us. What something you wanted to say that you've not gotten an opportunity to say.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. I love to talk, as you can see. And I'm so excited to be here. But what have I not said? I think I've said everything that I would like to say. Apart from just live your life. You only have this one life. You only have this one life. Live it to the fullest. Live it. Don't let anyone hold you back. Don't let anyone stop you from being yourself. Live authentic. They always call me the authenticity queen, because show up as your most authentic self. And that's like wearing, if you have to, like being barefoot, that's how it should feel. Don't, no airs, no graces for anyone. I'm not saying, you just come and just sit anyhow. But the best way to be is to be an original and to show up as your most authentic self.
Thank you very much. So that's been a very insightful conversation. We're grateful. And the butterfly team has something for you.
That is so.
It's a small gift.
Thank you.
We need to. It's a diary, a journal, really.
Oh my goodness.
Of which we're grateful for.
Thank
and
you.
a t-shirt like mine.
Thank
and
you.
a present of bag.
Thank
Sincerely,
you.
we're very grateful that you came on here.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you. So that's the butterfly conversations for today. And I really do hope that you've picked at least one lesson, because there are a lot of lessons packed in this episode. This is a good place to like, follow, subscribe, everything that you need to do. I would appreciate it a lot. Again, thank you. That was Ronke Giwa. And this is Ruby Taiwo saying peace out. Don't keep the fire burning today.